Today we're gonna do the hip flexors. So hip flexors are a lot of different muscles together, working together. It's not just one. So we're gonna hit two different muscles, but three different ways. So the first one we're gonna get your psoas, which connects front of the hip right here, and it goes all the way to that lumbar spine back through here. So we're gonna start down on, you can get on your left knee, right foot's out front, and I'll walk it out to the right side. So you wanna make sure you can have this shift to be able to get some tension through here. So we got left knee down, that back foot, the left foot, swing it out to the left side to create some more tension and to get the joint in the proper position. So you're gonna take right arm, swing it on the right leg, and we're gonna reach the left arm out front here. So his left arm is reaching to create a lot of tension all the way down through this torso. So it's not just there, it's pushing to get that tension. Now the hips, you wanna tuck that under. Think about that tailbone coming between your leg to build some more tension. We're reaching through that left arm. We're gonna shift your hips towards that right foot. And as you do that, you wanna stay square. Don't let the hips rotate. Keep the hips and shoulders square straight ahead. And then we just lengthen through the spine. Keep reaching through that left arm. Keep tucking the hips under. And you just kind of keep going forward, feeling this stretch, feeling this length. Biggest thing, as you're working, try not to sink into the hips. You wanna lift out of the hips. So we're constantly trying to lengthen through the spine. That back heel, try to rotate it out to that left side. So left foot, left heel, trying to rotate out to the left. Breathe through it. Breathe into this lower abdomen, this left oblique area as much as you can. Let's go 2 more big breaths. Keep reaching, keep building that tension. 1 more big breath. And then you're gonna slowly release out of that. And we're gonna switch sides. So always make sure you slowly release. We got right knee down, we're gonna go left foot out front and over to the left. So again, make sure you can have this shift just to get that extra tension. Right foot, the one that's in the back, swing it out to the right side, build some more tension. And as that happens, again, don't let the hips rotate. Shoulders, hips, square straight ahead. The goal is just to lengthen all the way down through here. Left arm on that left leg, we'll reach that right arm out front here. Start to get that back heel. So right heel, turn it to the right. Give me that shift towards that left foot. Tuck under. So tuck that tailbone. Tuck the butt cheeks under. Lift out of the hips. Reach through that right arm. So the second I push that right arm, I can feel all this tension just light up all the way down through my arm, the torso, into the psoas, the hip flexor region. Again, constantly tucking under, constantly lengthening your spine. Don't sink into the hips, lift out of the hips. Keep turning that back heel. Turn that back heel out to the right. Don't let the hips rotate and breathe through it. Deep breath in. Exhale, go a little further, reach harder, shift a little more. Lift out of it. Got 2 more big breaths, keep working. So you're constantly trying to work, constantly tucking under. 1 more big breath. And then slowly release out of that. You want to work into it for about 30, 45 seconds. All right, switch back to the other side. So that was one part of the psoas. The other part, we're about shoulder width with the feet, with the legs. If you need extra stability, maybe go a little further. So we're back down on the left knee, right foot's out front. You want to make sure the right foot is in front of that right knee because you want to be able to shift forward just a little bit. So from that side view, my right foot slightly in front of that knee so I can get that shift. So I'm actually going to stay in this side view just because of the movement. So I'm going to have both arms out here. If you need to have the right hand down for support, that's okay, but eventually you're here. So the hips. So you want to think of tucking under, already starting to build some tension through here. So you keep that tuck, you reach through the arms, then we're going to shift. You're going to shift forward. So go forward until you feel some extra tension here. So from hips down is going to constantly go forward on this. Then the hard part for a lot of us, we're going to lean the spine back. And as you lean the spine back, you're still tucking under. You're still almost trying to round that lower back. You don't want to arch. You want to try to round to keep that tension. So it's almost as if that lumbar spine is pulling backwards. And the front of the hip pushing down to the front, getting that length. Keep reaching through those arms, just breathe deep. Try to breathe into this lower left side, the abdominals. Exhale, go a little further. So I'm really kind of squeezing the butt as I tuck it under to keep the hips pushing forward. As I lean back, and again, as I lean back, lengthen through that spine. Let's go one more big breath, and then slowly release out of that. And we're gonna switch sides, switch knees. And that one should have felt a little different than the previous one. So now you got right knee down, left foot out front. Again, if you need a little bit more stability, go a little wider, that's okay. And here it is from the side view. So again, left toes in front of that left knee. That way you can get this shift. Arms up front. So that typical arm position, right? Palms are flat, you get that rotation, building that connection. So tuck under, so build that tension. Shift forward a little bit until you feel more tension. But again, as you shift, don't sink. Try to lift out of those hips. Keep the hips to the front, just lean that spine back. And as I lean back, I'm trying to lift out of the hips. I'm still tucking under to round that lower back and still reach in through those arms. And done properly, you may feel some tension, maybe all the way through the quad, up through the front of the hips, maybe into that belly. And you may even feel into that lower back. Nothing's really right or wrong. It's just wherever you are tight, this whole connection that we're trying to get is just gonna open up, which will then release the hip flexors even more. So keep tucking under. Allow that left knee to bend forward, but pull that spine back. Breathe deep. Every breath, feel that expansion. Exhale, go a little further. Let's go one more big breath. Reach those arms. And then as you exhale, slowly, gently release out of that. Whew, then we're gonna move on to the next one. So back to the left knee down. This one's gonna have a little bit more rotation to it because it's how this hip flexor works. It's the pectineus muscle. So with the left knee down, that left foot directly behind the left knee. And that left heel is gonna rotate in onto the ground. So from that side view, I'm here. So that the inside part of that left foot is trying to lay flat on the ground. That can create a lot of rotational tension in your knee. So be gentle if it does cause too much tension. So your goal is to eventually get it on the ground. But as long as it's rotating in, you should be good. So back to the front view. So I'm here, right foot in front, over to the right a little bit. So again, we're gonna have a shift, a little lateral or diagonal shift. So make sure you have that arms back out front, tuck under, all right, protect the hips. And we're gonna shift over towards that right foot. Now again, make sure you don't sink down, you're trying to lift out of the hips. So the goal is to almost feel your quad or the front of that left leg almost turning outward. That's why the heel's doing that rotation, as the hips almost rotate forward and give you that shift. So you got a little bit of opposition, creating that rotational tension, and that left arm is just reaching. If you want to have right arm on the right leg, go for it, whatever's a little bit more comfortable. But again, goal is to keep the hips pretty square straight ahead. Keep that back heel rotating inward, lifting up and out of the hips, and trying to feel this rotation all through here trying to happen. So your hips are trying to rotate to the front, quad trying to rotate out to its side. Let's go one more big breath, and then slowly, gently release out of that. You may feel a little weak, may feel a little stuck if you're into it, so just be gentle. All right, switch it up. So right knee down, left foot out front, and over to the left just a little bit. Again, you want to be able to have that diagonal shift. So the right foot should be directly behind your right knee. You're going to rotate that right heel inward or over to the left, trying to lay that foot flat on the ground. Bring that right arm out front. You can keep left arm on the left leg for a little extra support. So tuck under, give me that tuck, and then shift over towards that left foot. But again, as you shift, hip, shoulder square, don't let them rotate, stay square. So again, your right quad rotating out to its side as that right hip trying to rotate to the front. So that little bit of opposition gives you that rotation for this hip flexor. And you lift out of the hips as you do that, and you keep shifting over towards that left foot. Again, as that's all happening, that right heel is rotating in or to the left, down on the ground. And again, lift. Don't try to sink. Lift out of the hips, create that tension, and breathe. Breathe into that psoas, breathe into that belly, breathe into the hips a little bit. Let's go 2 more big breaths. Exhale, go a little further. Again, reaching through that arm, create that tension. As you exhale, you can slowly, gently release out of that. Again, if you feel like you're stuck, be careful, be gentle, but you should get into it that deep to feel like it's hard to get out of it. That was for a couple of the hip flexors. Good luck. Let me know what you think.